Picture this. You're driving home late at night in Los Angeles.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're on the 405 freeway. Traffic is, finally clearing up after like an hour of stop and go misery.
We're at a classic LA night.
Exactly. But you made a slight miscalculation earlier today. You misjudged your EV's remaining range.
So,
Yeah. You thought you could make it back to your home charger, but the dashboard numbers have been dropping a lot faster than you expected. 10 miles. 5 miles.
and you start sweating at that point.
Oh, completely. 2 miles. And then the screen goes dark, the climate control completely shuts off, and your heavy vehicle just rolls to a dead stop on the dirt shoulder.
That is just a nightmare.
You are officially stranded. Cars are flying past you in the dark at 80 miles an hour, and you have exactly 0% battery left. Like,
Yeah.
what do you actually do?
It is a genuinely terrifying scenario. I
Yeah.
mean, the moment that heavy regenerative braking kicks in and the car just refuses to move forward, panic sets in.
Right.
And, this is happening to more and more people every single day as electric vehicles transition from these early adopter novelties to standard everyday commuters.
And that very specific modern nightmare is exactly what we are looking at today. We are exploring this fascinating microeconomy that has been born entirely out of EV range anxiety.
It really is its own little world.
It is. So to do this, our deep dive today is examining the digital footprint of a specific Los Angeles-based company. They're called No Line Charging LLC.
Yeah, we've been digging into them quite a bit.
We've been combing through their website service menus, their surprisingly transparent pricing sheets, and even the metrics on their YouTube channel to figure out how this business actually survives.
It's a brilliant set of sources because it grounds this massive global shift in a very local reality.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it is one thing to look at the broad, sweeping transition to green energy on a macro scale, but it is entirely another to look at the people literally standing on the side of a busy freeway, just, cleaning up the messy, complicated realities of that transition.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to understand how this modern roadside rescue operation actually works mechanically. Plus, what it costs to get bailed out of a jam like this.
Which is not cheap, by the way.
No, it is not. And finally, what an operation like No Line Charging reveals about our clunky, real-world transition to electric vehicles.
Right, because before we even get into the economics of what they charge a stranded driver, we really need to understand the physical logistics.
Yeah, how does it actually work?
Exactly. How does a business actually solve a dead EV battery in the wild? Because the physics of this rescue have just completely changed.
That is the big question. Because, back in the day, if you ran out of gas, a buddy or a roadside service could literally just show up in a Honda Civic with a little red plastic jerry can.
Yeah, a $5 piece of plastic.
Right. They pour a gallon of unleaded into your tank, and you drive away in 2 minutes. But you can't exactly carry a bucket of electricity.
You cannot. And hauling usable high-voltage power through gridlock traffic is, well, it's the entire premise of the operation run by John Zamora at No Line Charging.
And they're based out of Long Beach, right?
Yeah, based out of Long Beach. And the scope of what they are attempting is incredibly ambitious. I mean, they offer 24/7 emergency service,
Wow.
and they're promising a 30-minute response time.
Okay, wait, let me stop you right there. A 30-minute response time anywhere in Los Angeles.
I know, it sounds crazy.
That alone borders on a miracle. Traffic is completely unpredictable.
It is a logistical tightrope, for sure, especially considering they operate across a massive 70-mile service radius.
70 miles.
Yeah, it covers a huge chunk of both Los Angeles and Orange County. But, it's not just the geography they have to master.
What else is there?
It's the fragmentation of the automotive market itself. Their operation is built to support a dizzying array of vehicles. We're talking Tesla, Rivian, Chevy, Kia, Hummers, Toyota, BMW, and VW.
Oh man, that is a lot of different charging ports.
Exactly. They have to be prepared to interface with essentially any charging standard out on the road right now.
Which means carrying just a ton of heavy adapters in their trucks. But, as I was looking through their service menu to see how they pull this off, I noticed something that completely threw me off.
Oh, yeah. Where's that?
So they list their main service, the mobile EV charging, but right below that, they list EV jump starting and EV lockouts.
Ah, yes. The jump starting.
I had to read that twice. Why would an EV need a traditional jump start? Doesn't the entire car run on a giant 1,000-pound high-voltage battery that takes up the entire floorboard?
What's fascinating here is the hidden architecture of these vehicles. There is this really strict division of labor happening inside the car.
What do you mean?
Well, you have the high-voltage battery that physically moves the car.
Yeah.
But then you also have a traditional 12-volt battery that runs the car's basic localized systems.
Wait. EVs still have those heavy, boxy 12-volt batteries under the hood, like the exact same kind you'd find in a 1998 Ford Taurus?
They absolutely do.
That is wild. I had no idea.
And this is a massive point of confusion, even for people who've owned an EV for years. That giant lithium-ion battery pack under the floor, it's strictly for the drivetrain and the heavy climate control.
Okay.
But the car's computers, the door locks, the interior lights, the dashboard screen, and, this is the most important part, the systems that actually monitor the high-voltage battery.
Yeah.
Those are all run by a completely standard 12-volt battery.
But why, I mean, if you have this massive power plant under the floor, why rely on a tiny, outdated lead-acid battery to run the radio? It just seems so redundant.
It does seem that way, but it all comes down to safety and fail-safes. The high-voltage battery is dangerous. It contains enough energy to cause serious harm if something goes wrong.
Right, nobody wants to get electrocuted by their own car.
Exactly. So engineers use physical mechanical switches. They're called contactors, and these connect that big battery to the rest of the car.
Okay, I'm following.
But those physical switches require 12-volt power just to click closed. If the small 12-volt battery dies, those contactors stay open. The big battery is completely isolated.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's designed that way. So emergency responders don't get electrocuted if they have to cut into a car after a terrible accident. The high voltage is physically cut off.
Okay, well, that makes total sense from a safety perspective, but I mean, from a driver's perspective, it basically means my car is a bank vault where the electronic keypad is completely dead.
Yes.
Even though there are millions of dollars sitting inside, I can't get to it.
That is a perfect way to visualize it.
Yeah.
You are entirely locked out. Your giant high-voltage battery might actually have, say, a 50% charge left. But if that small 12-volt battery fails, which happens frequently, by the way, in extreme heat or cold, the car's computer cannot wake up to access the big battery.
That is incredibly frustrating.
It is. You literally cannot even open the doors from the outside because the electronic handles need 12-volt power to actuate. It just becomes a 5,000-pound brick of dead software.
Wow. So when you are sitting on the 405, the situation might be a lot messier than just running out of range.
Oh, absolutely.
Your main battery might have run dry, which then caused the 12-volt to drain, trying to keep the computers alive, and now you are completely locked out of your own vehicle.
And that is exactly why a modern roadside service has to be equipped for EV jumpstarting and EV lockout services.
Right, they have to get you into the car first.
Yeah. Before they can even pump electricity into the main battery, they have to hook a jump box up to the small battery just to wake the computers up.
Just to get the brain turned back on.
Exactly. Because only then will the car recognize it has power, communicate with the charging cable, and actually unlock the charging port.
Man, that is a highly technical, multi-step triage process. And it's all happening mere feet away from speeding traffic in the dark.
It's intense.
It really paints a vivid picture of the logistics. It's not just pouring gas into a tube, it's like rebooting a server farm on the side of the highway.
That's a great way to put it.
But let's shift gears here and talk about the money.
Ah, yes, the economics.
Because now that we understand the mechanics of hauling portable power across LA traffic, how much does this convenience actually cost?
Right.
Hauling what looks like military-grade level 2 charging equipment to a stranded driver cannot be cheap to operate.
No. It is not a cheap operation to run at all.
Yeah.
But, to their credit, no line charging uses a highly transparent tiered pricing model.
Yeah, I noticed that on their site.
There are no hidden fees.
Yeah.
Because when you are dealing with people in a state of sheer panic, clarity is your absolute best customer service tool. The gear they bring provides safe level 2 charging.
And we should probably clarify that term for anyone who doesn't own an EV. Level 2 charging isn't one of those super fast stations you see at the grocery store that fills your car in 20 minutes, right?
Correct. No. Level 2 is essentially the equivalent of plugging your car into a high-powered household electric dryer outlet.
Okay, got it.
It is a steady, safe flow of electricity, but it takes time. And to make sure they can plug into any car on the market, they bring J1772 adapters.
Which is the universal standard plug.
Yeah, for almost all non-Tesla electric vehicles. And they bring those alongside the proprietary Tesla connectors.
Okay, so let's run through these pricing tiers we found in the sources. The entry-level option is the Quick Boost. That is $199.
Right.
And for that price, you get 30 minutes of level 2 charging, which nets you about 30 to 40 miles of range.
Which, in the sprawling landscape of Los Angeles, that's just enough to get you off the highway.
Yeah, maybe navigate to a local commercial supercharger. Or get home if you're lucky and live nearby. Then you step up to the standard charge, which their site notes is the most popular option by far. That is $329.
And that gets you 60 minutes of charging.
Right, which nets about 80 to 100 miles of range.
And then, if you're really far from home or way out in the canyon somewhere, they offer the extended charge for $429.
429, wow.
Yeah, that's 90 minutes of charging, giving you somewhere between 130 to 160 miles of range.
And we also have to factor in the reality that breakdowns rarely happen on a convenience schedule, right?
Oh, almost never.
Yeah, so if you call before 6 in the morning or after 6 in the evening, that is an extra $50 night surcharge.
Yep.
And if you need that specialized 12-volt EV jump box service we just talked about, just to wake the car's computers up, that's an additional $75 fee.
The total bill can escalate significantly depending on the circumstances.
Okay, I have to push back hard on the economics of this. Let's really look at this from the driver's seat.
Okay, lay it on me.
Let's say I get stranded at 7 o'clock at night. I am panicked, I am far from home, so I order the extended charge to make sure I can get all the way back to my house.
Makes sense.
That's $429 plus the $50 evening surcharge. I am paying $479 to sit on the shoulder of a dark highway for an hour and a half.
It sounds rough when you put it like that.
It does. I mean, why on earth wouldn't I just call a traditional flatbed tow truck? My auto insurance covers towing for free.
Right.
Even out of pocket, AAA is a fraction of that cost. Have them tow me to a supercharger and be done with it.
On paper, I agree. The tow truck seems like the obvious financially responsible choice.
Totally.
But when you look at the physical reality of towing a completely dead electric vehicle, the hidden value proposition of this mobile charging service suddenly makes a lot of sense.
How so?
You aren't just paying for electrons. You are paying for risk mitigation.
What do you mean by risk mitigation? A tow truck is a tow truck, isn't it?
Not anymore. Towing an electric vehicle is vastly more complicated than towing a gas-powered car.
Really? Why?
Well, with the traditional car, if the battery dies, you just pop it into neutral. That mechanically disconnects the wheels from the transmission, and you winch it up onto a flatbed truck.
Right. Super easy.
But you cannot do that with an EV. There is no true mechanical neutral.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the wheels are permanently connected to the electric motors.
So if you drag an EV onto a tow truck.
You are forcing the wheels to turn, which forces those heavy electric motors to spin. And when you spin an electric motor manually, it acts as a generator.
Oh, man. So it's creating power.
Exactly. It starts pumping electricity back into a system that is entirely shut down.
That sounds really bad.
It is. Dragging an EV, especially if the electronic parking brake is locked and cannot be released due to a dead 12-volt battery, can completely fry the power electronics.
Yikes.
Yeah, it can strip the regenerative braking gears or even cause a catastrophic fire risk.
Okay, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. So how do tow trucks even move them then?
The driver has to get under the vehicle on the side of the highway and physically place the wheels on specialized dollies or skates.
Like little wheels for the wheels.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the car's wheels never actually touch the ground while it's being pulled onto the flatbed. It is a slow, highly dangerous process.
I can imagine.
And on top of that, these battery packs make EVs incredibly heavy. I mean, a Rivian truck weighs over 7,000 pounds. Not every flatbed is equipped to handle that weight or has those skates on hand.
Which means you are waiting. If I call for a specialized EV tow in Los Angeles at 7 p.m., I'm probably staring down a 3-hour wait time just to get a truck capable of doing the job safely.
Very likely.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the psychological factor of your scenario.
Okay.
Let's say the tow truck finally arrives. Do you really want to ride in the cramped cab of a tow truck only to be dropped off at a dark, empty commercial parking lot where a supercharger happens to be located?
Ugh, no, that sounds terrible.
Right. You have to get the dead car off the flatbed, plug it in, wait another 45 minutes for the car to charge, and then finally drive home past midnight.
Okay, when you lay it out like that, it sounds absolutely miserable. A $500 nightmare, really.
Exactly. The value proposition here is that my car never actually moves.
Right. I stay sitting in my own comfortable seat. I can read a book on my phone with the doors locked, and then I just continue my journey directly home.
Yep.
So I am essentially paying a massive premium to not have my entire night derailed by a tow truck.
That's it. And you're also paying no line charging to amortize their massive equipment costs. They are hauling around industrial-scale batteries that degrade over time.
Plus paying a human being to sit in LA traffic.
Exactly.
Mm.
However, from a business perspective, John Zamora knows that emergency roadside rescues aren't always perfectly consistent.
Right. Some days are busy, some are slow.
Yeah, you might have 10 calls on a Friday and final calls on a Tuesday. That is why they diversify their revenue streams.
Ah, right, the power rental business. I saw that on their pricing sheet.
It's a huge part of their model.
Yeah, they rent out 16,000 watts of portable power for the day. And to put that number into context for you, 16,000 watts is enough juice to power 3 average American homes simultaneously.
It's a massive amount of energy.
It is. And they rent these massive units out for food trucks, film sets, outdoor events, or even emergency backup for construction sites.
It is a phenomenal utilization of capital, because if nobody happens to run out of battery on a Tuesday afternoon, those massive, expensive battery units are still out there generating daily revenue.
Keeping the criers running at a local food festival or something.
Exactly.
But, the core of the business, their real bread and butter, is still that emergency rescue. And that brings up a really interesting psychological and marketing challenge.
Oh, for sure. Building trust.
Yeah. I am stuck on the 405. I've decided I don't want the hassle of a tow truck, and I'm willing to pay the $400, but I am terrified of getting scammed.
Yeah.
I am literally Googling dead EV on highway in the dark. How does a small company convince me in that moment of acute vulnerability that they are legitimate and can actually solve my problem?
They have to provide immediate, irrefutable visual proof.
Yeah.
And this is where we get into the most revealing part of the sources we reviewed.
Yes, no line charging's YouTube presence.
All right.
I was just obsessed with this part of our research because by all traditional internet metrics, it is a tiny, practically invisible channel.
Very small.
They only have 19 subscribers and they only have 8 videos uploaded.
Barely a blip.
But the titles of these videos tell such a complete, localized story of real-world EV ownership.
They really do.
For instance, they have a video simply titled, "Tesla with Dead Battery After a Cruise." It only has 125 views, but think about the very specific scenario playing out there.
It's a classic example of phantom drain.
Phantom drain.
Yeah. Someone likely parked their car at the massive cruise port in Long Beach or San Pedro. They go on a week-long vacation to Mexico, completely forgetting that the car's advanced security systems are still running.
Oh, like the cameras and stuff?
Exactly. The cameras, the thermal management systems that keep the battery cool in the California sun, they are constantly running in the background.
So they're just sipping away at the battery.
Right. They are slowly, invisibly siphoning electricity over 7 days. So the owner returns from a relaxing cruise with all their luggage, only to find a completely dead, unresponsive vehicle in a concrete parking garage.
Oh, man, it's such a localized pain point. But the videos that really stand out on their channel, the ones that are getting thousands of views, are visually wild.
Oh, they are incredible.
I have to call out this incredible visual irony we found. Their most popular video, sitting at roughly 7.8 thousand views, is titled, "Charging a Tesla Cybertruck with a Gas Generator."
Yeah, you can't make that up.
And they have another one titled, "Using a Generator to Charge a EV," with 1,000 views.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this scene perfectly encapsulates the current era of green technology.
It really does.
It is a stunning visual paradox. Picture it. You have the Cybertruck, this angular stainless steel $100,000 hyper-futuristic spaceship.
Right.
And it's supposed to represent our complete departure from the age of fossil fuels.
Mm-hmm.
But it is sitting completely dead in the dirt.
And how is it being saved? By a loud, rattling, fume-spewing Honda gas generator chugging away in the back of a Ford rescue truck.
Exactly.
The sensory details of that are just hilarious. The silent electric future is being jump-started by the deafening roar of a combustion engine.
It's quite the image.
It feels so inherently contradictory. You look at it and think, are we really making progress?
It looks absurd, sure. But it highlights a very pragmatic reality about where we are in history right now.
Which is what?
Well, the transition to clean energy right now in this current moment still heavily relies on fossil fuel stopgaps when things go wrong.
That's true.
We are firmly in the awkward teenage years of the EV transition. The charging infrastructure isn't perfect yet, so the safety net holding the whole thing up is still built on older, dirtier technology.
And from a marketing standpoint, leaning into that absurdity on YouTube is incredibly smart.
Oh, brilliant.
Because if you are the guy in the Cybertruck stranded on the side of the road, you don't care about the philosophical irony of burning gas to charge your battery. You only care about the solution.
Exactly that. These videos act as highly searchable proof of life. The person stuck on the highway isn't looking for a polished corporate advertisement.
No, they're panicked.
They are typing frantic keywords into Google. So when they see a raw, unedited video of no-line charging successfully reviving a dead Cybertruck with a noisy generator, it establishes instant credibility.
Yeah, it proves to the panicked driver that despite how strange or clunky the solution looks, it actually works.
It gets the job done.
So what does this all mean? Why did we just spend this deep dive analyzing a small company in Long Beach charging stranded electric vehicles?
It's a fair question.
Well, even if you don't drive an EV or you don't live anywhere near the traffic of Los Angeles, this is a perfect case study in how new technologies inevitably create new, unforeseen vulnerabilities.
Right.
And wherever there is a new vulnerability, human ingenuity will spawn an entirely new microeconomy to patch the holes.
Always.
We traded the 2-gallon plastic jerry can for a 16,000-watt portable battery and a J1772 adapter. But the fundamental, profitable business of saving people from their own mistakes hasn't changed a bit.
It really hasn't. It is the evolution of a very old business model, just tailored for a very new technology.
Exactly.
Which brings up something we're thinking about as we look toward the future. Right now, range anxiety and a patchy public charging network are the massive drivers for this microeconomy.
Yeah, that's what's fueling it.
But battery technology is moving incredibly fast.
Well, for sure. I mean, solid-state batteries are on the horizon, charging speeds are dropping from an hour to 20 minutes, and maximum ranges are steadily climbing every single model year.
So here is a thought to consider long after we wrap up today.
Let's hear it.
As electric vehicle batteries eventually hit 500 or even 600 miles of range on a single charge, and as ultra-fast charging stations become as ubiquitous on every street corner as traditional gas stations,
Yeah.
will mobile charging businesses like no-line charging simply go extinct? Will the problem of range anxiety be engineered out of existence entirely?
That's a great question.
Or will human psychology, our stubborn, ingrained tendency to push our luck, skip that last charging station because we are tired, and drive until the dashboard numbers hit exactly 0% guarantee that no matter how flawless the technology gets, there will always be a lucrative market for saving us from ourselves?
You know, next time you see your smartphone hit 1% battery and you tell yourself you don't need to plug it in just yet, you might just have your answer. Human nature is the one thing engineers can't fix.
That is the truth.
Keep your eyes on the dashboard out there. Catch you next time.